Hey guys, and welcome to another Game Explained discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by Nintendon and Comic Drake to discuss the trademark leak of Pokémon Sun and Pokémon Moon. So let's get started. Got a new leak. We got Pokémon Sun and Pokémon Moon being revealed on a European trademark site, and I guess that seems to confirm what the Pokemon Direct might be about, but I guess the first question is, do you guys believe this? Do you think it's just dummy data that has been on this trademark site before? Do you believe it at all? Do you think this is actually 7th gen or something like that?
Well, to be fair, let's say this for the record. This is a absolutely legal site sanctioned by the European Union. So everything that goes on there has been trademarked officially through some way or another. What is interesting though about this trade leak, it was filed today, as we're recording this today. Mm-hmm. So somebody went to the effort to find this trademark almost right when it was uploaded today somewhere.
Somebody was just clicking refresh on this trademark site until they saw some new Pokemon thing on the off chance that it might have happened, and for some reason it actually happened.
I have no doubts that it's actually legal and that this is the real deal. And also, I really like how they also included those nice promotional images, too.
Yeah, the actual logos, which that's the big surprise, is that they
look legitimate.
Yeah, they totally look legitimate, and I can buy a Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. I mean, we're running out of colors and gemstones, and letters, so let's move on to the objects.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at all the legal stuff and the office that was trademarked with, and it seems like a couple things are perfectly clear. Like, the legal office that was filed with has filed some Nintendo stuff in the past, like very recently. The only thing like Pokemon related that they have done is Pokemon Rumble World. But the rest of the more recent Nintendo stuff they have done. It's a German company, they are based in Germany, so it seems that they might also have some affiliation with Nintendo of Europe, because they are also in Germany. But as it stands, it's a fully operative legal firm in Cologne and Berlin and Paris and some other European places. Mm-hmm. So it seems to have the chops to make this happen and file for that trademark regardless. But it's very interesting to just see it pop up like literally hours before the official reveal.
I saw you say on Twitter, Don, that I don't think this legal form is going to be with Nintendo for very much longer. Just because, or they didn't expect the patent to go up or the trademark to go up this quickly, or something like that. But yeah, it all seems legal. I know there was a lot of confusion out there because Eurogamer reported, and everybody's like, that's wrong. It's what they reported incorrectly is that Nintendo themselves confirmed it. A parody Twitter account said that it was coming, and that's what they were clarifying against. Everything about this trademark site seems to be legit. So, yeah, it seems like maybe not tomorrow, but at some point, Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon is a thing that's coming.
Right.
Oh, we're going to hear about it tomorrow. There's no doubts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if a trademark usually gets confirmed like way earlier, like months before, there's always the opportunity that names change and it is something completely different. Like at one point it was also trademarked Pokemon Brown, which changed into something else entirely. But again, this is literally a day before the announcement. I don't think they're gonna change that name that fast.
And they also have all the official artwork, so I'm assuming that it's gonna, that's legitimate and that's gonna be the final name.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet that myself. So, I guess, what do you guys think about them skipping over the typical third game in the 6th gen and just skipping right to what seems to be the 7th gen?
I mean, I'm not against it. I mean, really, I think I mentioned this in the last discussion that we did yesterday. Do we really need a third game anymore? Do we really need to buy the same game with some enhanced features when in a modern era we can just buy those as DLC?
I think people have become smarter about it. Especially when you look at other typical franchises that usually had like multiple games alongside of them. They don't do a third game any longer as well. Usually add some DLC and that is about it. So to see Nintendo going this route with Pokemon makes total sense. It absolutely makes 100% sense to just move forward from Pokemon X and Y and see what's next. Though, that being said, it makes this the shortest gen ever.
Yeah, it really does. I'm not sure what the longest gen was, but yeah, they really rushed through 6th gen. I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe, I thought the gen was kind of popular, but maybe not. It's hard to say for sure. The interesting thing about 7th, them rushing to 7th gen is that it really feels like they want to wring out every last bit of power from the 3DS before they move on to whatever the next handheld system is.
See, and that's really weird. I thought that if they wanted to really get the next handheld system going, kind of like how they're saving a lot of things for the NX, you would expect them to launch the 7th gen on that console, and it would be amazing if that was a launch title for the new Nintendo handheld system.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair, the Black and White 2 was also still on DS, just literally after the 3DS came out, so it doesn't disclude anything, really.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Pokemon's one that sort of followed its own trends. They don't really worry about following what comes out or being a launch title or anything like that. They just sort of do their own thing because they can. People were going to buy this game no matter what. I think I saw Jay Witch tweet out that it could be called Hot Garbage and Wet Garbage, and people will still buy these games.
Yeah,
I'd buy it.
Except if it has that trash Pokemon on the front from Black and White. I would walk away from that.
So it's Grimer versus Trubbish.
Oh no! With all the we're gonna get Mega Garbodor and Mega Muck.
Yeah, it's funny that we already do have Sun Pokemon and Moon Pokemon with Lunatone and Solrock.
I actually wanted to bring that up because, it would make a lot of sense to incorporate those Pokemon at least semi-heavily into the new game. I'm sure that if it's going to be Sun and Moon, I'm predicting that they're going to have more emphasis on the day-night features that were first pioneered in Gold, Silver, Crystal. Mm-hmm. But also, since we already do have Lunatone and Solrock, it just makes sense to have them in some capacity in the games. And honestly, I think that they're going to be getting a Mega Form. It just makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm not sure if they'll be the cover Pokemon. I highly doubt that.
Oh, definitely not.
No.
We're going to get some kind of new legendaries. Maybe there would be much more of a space focus on this one, since, at least for the legendaries, since we are talking Sun and Moon, and we're sort of running out of, I guess, earthly Pokemon.
I suppose
the entire
so.
game is in space.
There we go.
I mean, there was not many continents left in the world to make games out of. The X and Y was basically European culture. Black and White was America. The only things that are never really touched upon is more Chinese, Asian, and Africa. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you can make major differences between the Pokemon that are really there already.
Oh, they made 4, generations that were based in Japan. So, I think that we could probably get we could squeeze a few more generations out of, America, out of Europe.
Maybe, but at the same time, maybe it's a good thing that they want to push forward for something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where they would focus on, and there's a lot of places they could do. South America would be interesting, having like a Brazilian influence place. So there's even just other European countries that you could get a lot of folklore out of and whatnot. X and Y focus much more on Europe, but there's a lot of Europe, so we could definitely move on from that.
Man, you have me really wanting a South American Pokemon now. We could have one city that's just totally Rio de Janeiro. We could have, like you said, Brazil, and we could have a giant Pokemon statue, overlooking a hill. That'd be awesome.
It might be a little sacrilegious to replace the Jesus statue with a Pokemon.
It hasn't stopped Pokemon before.
And Pokemon Sun, the sunny sun of Brazil. I can see it.
Or, Aztec culture with the Mayans.
Oh, yeah.
Heavily worship the sun and the moon.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We're completely wrong, but that would be cool.
I know we're totally wrong, but that'd be really great.
I do feel they have focused on like Sun and Moon, like spatial elements, a lot in the past, and I'm interested to see if it really is that focus, if they can really deep it out enough to make it something interesting.
Yeah. Now, Drake, you had said that you could see them sort of expanding upon the day-night cycle. How exactly would you think that they would expand upon that beyond what they've already done?
Honestly, I want to say that it was in Black and White where they had the Black Forest and the White Town, or maybe I have those first. Maybe it was White Forest, Black Town. I do think that we could probably see another one of those exclusive cities or towns. But I would also think it'd be really cool if there was a certain area you could only access during the day, in a kind of parallel world, sort of like Link Between Worlds, Link to the Past, where it's like a mirror version, but only accessible at night. I think that would be cool. I think we might see more moves, kind of like Moonlight and Solar Beam, that are actually based on the time of day. I just think there's a lot they could do with the mechanics that haven't already been implemented in previous games.
That would be interesting. How many new Pokemon do you think they'll introduce in this potential generation?
75.
Only 75?
75. They didn't do a whole lot for Gen 6.
They did like 60 or something?
It was definitely under 100, so I'm thinking that they're going to want to stay with that same amount. Not too terribly much, but not so little that it doesn't warrant its own generation.
Yeah, I would say somewhere around 70, 80 would be a nice number.
Yeah, I know a couple people were disappointed with how few new Pokemon were introduced in 6th Gen, so I have a feeling they're probably going to up that number a bit. I'm going to guess 80 to 100.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with 75, and we'll do a Price is Right style thing when it comes out.
It'll be 79. It'll be 79, and I'll lose out.
Aha!
Don, play the safe bet and say 1.
1 Pokemon.
Okay, 1 Pokemon more. It will be 101.
Now, see, we already have seen the first one with that Steel type, so that's definitely going to be a 7th Gen Pokemon. It's not going to be, DLC like some people were speculating for Gen 6. That is definitely, I think, going to herald in the 7th generation.
Yeah. So what exactly do you think we can expect from this, presumably, first trailer that we're going to get? I mean, based on X and Y, they hinted at the main location, with Pikachu on top of the Eiffel Tower, and then they showed gameplay clips including the new battle system and the new starters and a couple locations and whatnot. Do you think they'll, and of course then the legendaries that'll be on the box art, do you think they'll sort of follow that same trend where they'll give an indication?
Yeah.
It seems like a safe bet. It's going to be the legendaries, it's going to be the starters, a couple clips from a battle. I think they're also going to show a couple of either a new mechanic in terms of forms, because there's so many Pokemon with different types of forms that are done in different ways. I think we're either going to see new Mega Evolutions or a whole new form for a brand new Pokemon, or one that's already been established, possibly in that Zygarde, all those different forms. Maybe that'll be one of the highlights, but definitely something that we've already seen, or something that's brand new that'll have different versions of it itself.
I could see that, yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to think. I mean, the funny thing is like, this is a major leak, but there's still like only a certain amount of things that you can actually talk about when it comes to this leak. I mean, is there any one feature before we end this off that you guys really want to see them implement in the 7th Gen?
I would like to see a bit more consistency in the art style, because it was a bit over the place with X and Y, honestly. Feature-wise, I think it was pretty complete with how they handled X and Y. I think the battle system was like more. You can't make it more perfect than that, how they did it on 3DS back then, and I really think they can change it all that much. It just expanding on the world and make it more consistent overall of how it runs on 3DS is more a priority, I think, than anything else.
I want an overhaul of the Wonder Trade system. That way we're not just, one, it would get rid of, fake and hack Pokemon. I also would like it to hopefully stop weeding out all of the so many duplicates of Rattatas and Pidgeys and all the really common level stuff. That way Wonder Trade could be a bit more substantial. I desperately want them to let us go to another region at least once. You can introduce 2 new ones if you want to. Just don't confine us to 1. Please give us at least 1 more. You teased us with that freaking rail system in X and Y. Let's do something with it. And speaking of, I want to know what the deal with that Ghost Girl was.
That would be cool. Because they had the Ghost Girl show up again in Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, and another Ghost Girl with Phoebe. So, we're going to get explanations on that, or what?
They're going to be the mascots of Sun and Moon.
There we go.
That would be very nice, though. Like, there are some extremely loose ends with X and Y, and even if we don't get like a Z game, I still think they need to wrap it up somehow.
And they could easily do that by implementing the revisit, go to another region system by having you return to Kalos.
Yeah.
And that would solve that problem right away. I mean, like, we said in the last discussion yesterday, I said it would be easy to return to Hoenn because they already have all the assets in there. And if there anything, Fire Emblem Fates has shown me that, at least the special edition has shown you can cram a lot of stuff into a 3DS game.
Well, I want to say that Fire Emblem is a lot less memory intensive because they are using just regular 2D models, and when you're using and I know there's a lot of different units in the Fire Emblem games, but when you have over 700 Pokemon with each unique 3D models and with unique idle animations,
that is true,
and buildings and all this stuff, like Fire Emblem is great, and it definitely takes a lot of memory to produce. Like it's not a small series or a small game for sure, but I do think that Pokemon does take up a bit more space on a cartridge than Fire Emblem would. More
than likely, yeah. But I'm sure they're also going to try to take advantage at least a little bit. Maybe you'll have a full 3D option if you play on the new 3DS. Mm-hmm. Since a lot of people complain about the fact you can only have the 3D on during battles, and even then it wasn't that great, but I'm not sure how many people would care about that little feature.
Well, if you have a new 3DS, you would care about 3D anyway, because it will follow your
That
face.
is true. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I'd love to see I'd love to see more Pokemon introduced and like interesting new Pokemon, because there's a lot of animals out there they haven't really taken advantage of. And, more Eevee evolutions. I'm always down for more Eevee evolutions.
Yeah, I mean, they could definitely at least throw in bug, ghost, fighting, maybe an evolution of the normal one. Like they definitely can do more.
Oh yeah.
But Derek, like you said about they're not having Pokemon made out of certain animals, I said this when I was little, and I'm worried if I'm going to actually hold myself to it. When I was like 12, I want to say it was, I don't know, it's just an arbitrary age. At some point when a new Pokemon game was coming out, I said that if they ever made a Flamingo Pokemon, I'd be done. I'd finally be done playing the series. and they still haven't. And I'm kind of worried if I might hold myself to it.
If we get a South America, that Flamingo would make sense.
Betrayed by my own ideas.
That'd be awesome, though. That Flamingo Pokemon, I'd be down for that. No, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I want to be surprised. Let me see what they can come up with and help me convince. I mean, I'm going to get the game no matter what, but convince me to get this game again,
Yeah, what I at least hope for is that they iron out the problems that X and Y had, because there were still, while I really like that game, I still feel that there are problems. Like, I already talked about the presentation, but I found like the consistency or the length between like the first or second gym was way too long. I just want a more straightforward game with some distractions. I love distractions, but make it at least a fun ride through the end, because there were some dull moments, sadly, in X and Y for me.
The beginning of X and Y was strangely slow.
I liked it.
I was fine. I was involved the entire time.
Fair enough.
The thing that I loved about X and Y was just how much variety there was in the Pokemon.
I love the characters.
I like the characters and the world and everything about it, but it was like those opening moments were really slow, and I think that it needs to be a bit more gripping. We'll see what they do. Mm-hmm. It could. I do think that Game Freak is a company that learns from its previous games.
Oh, definitely. I think we're in for a treat. I really hope so, at least. So, any final thoughts on Pokemon Sun and Moon?
Bring on tomorrow. I want to know more right now.
Oh yeah, Drake.
Pokemon in space and or Pokemon in the medieval ages in the middle of the Pokemon War. Let's have that happen someday, maybe tomorrow.
They could do that for the Dynasty Warriors spinoff of Pokemon.
Perfect.
No, it's time for Pokemon Conquest 2, everybody.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Please, all this is being thrown away. They're announcing Pokemon Conquest 2, the long-awaited sequel to the game that sadly not enough people played. That's what I want tomorrow.
I really enjoyed that game. It was fun.
Solid game.
That's such a great game.
Alright guys, well I think that covers it for our Pokemon discussion, so thank you for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And Don, where can they find you at?
Wow, you can find me at way too many places. Just follow me on Twitter, which is at Nintendan, that is NINTENDAAN. You find usually links to all what I do. There's just now a preview up of Pokken Tournament if you're interested, if you want to hear more Pokemon. Which is roughly 2,000 words long, so it's obviously way too freaking long.
Yeah.
But there is plenty of more to find if you are interested.
Awesome. And Drake?
You can hopefully find me on a future Game Explained discussion, especially if you guys hated my voice. But if you want to see more of my videos, go to trailerdrake.com or comicdrake.com for more on video games and comic books as well.
Awesome.
I like comic books.
Yeah, everybody likes comic books, especially now.
Yeah.
And of course, stay tuned to Game Explained for more on Pokemon and other things gaming too. Until next time, guys. Bye.